What is going on? So today I'm going to be going over some different hitting tips to help you guys hit a little bit better on MLB The Show 22. First, I'm going to be going over some of the settings. I typically like to either hit on All-Star or Hall of Fame for the practice, just because that's typically what you're going to get while you're playing online. For hitting view, I like to stick to one of the strike zones. Typically, I'm on either strike zone or strike zone 2, but I just say do that on your own. Try out the different hitting views and see what you guys like the most. There's all sorts of different ones on here. Like I said, I prefer the strike zone ones, and I believe a lot of the pros play on strike zone as well. For in-play view offense, I do dynamic. Again, this is one that you can do whatever you want. It's just being able to see the ball off the bat. Whatever is easiest for you, I'd recommend going with that. For hitting interface, definitely do not do directional. Directional is terrible. You want to hit zone. Directional might seem a little bit easier, but zone, you're actually able to control the barrel of the bat and where the ball is going to be going. So it's just get out of the habit of using directional and start using zone if you're not already. Now for input type, I always like to go with buttons just because it's so much easier trying to time everything up. Um, Going down to PCI anchor, all of these settings are really just kind of whatever you want and however you want to do it. This is what my settings are. Color, transparency, all of this doesn't matter. It's just your own preference and whatever makes you better. It does make a big difference though for each person. So go in here and try all these out. There's tons of different settings that you can mess with on the outer, the inner, the center, the color, the transparency, the fade out, everything. So make sure you guys are going in here and trying some different stuff out while you're in practice mode just to see what's working the best for you guys. So now that we have our settings out of the way, a great way to improve your hitting is just to come over to the practice mode, set yourself up against a really good pitcher, grab a hitter that you're comfortable with, and just begin to practice taking those pitches on a higher difficulty. You'd be surprised after you're on, say, Hall of Fame or Legend difficulty, seeing fastballs from Jacob deGrom, and then you go to Veteran or All-Star and see that same pitcher. It is crazy how much easier it is to see those pitches out of his hand and get your PCI to it and just absolutely smoke the ball. Alright, so now that we're in practice mode, you may be asking yourself, what should I work on? And the answer to this is the very first thing is begin to track pitches. And now what I mean by this is rather than just looking at the strike zone and trying to find a pitch that's inside the strike zone and put your PCI there, actually pretend like you're hitting in a real game and pick up the pitch out of the pitcher's hand. Just a small difference, trying to actually look at the pitcher's hand and read the seams and where the spin is going. It makes a world of difference for me personally as a hitter. It allows me, rather than to just be up here completely guessing, I'm actually able to read what the pitch is and see if it's going to be in the strike zone or a little bit out of the strike zone, and actually pick up if it's a fastball or if it's got slider movement or curveball movement, which is just something that you can't see if you're just looking at the strike zone itself. And going along with tracking pitches is being patient at the plate. And as you begin to track the pitches out of the pitcher's hands more frequently, you're going to be able to see the pitches a whole lot better. You're going to be able to take more balls, you're going to be able to swing at more strikes, and you're going to see much better results than when you're just going up there and, say, swinging at a first pitch curveball that's just below the knees. So a great hitting tip for MLB The Show 22 is actually using your PCI anchor. And so if you have a pitch that you really struggle with, say it's a high and inside or a low and inside fastball, you can set up your PCI anchor on these dots so that you can be ready for the pitch that you struggle with and then adjust from there. So like personally, I typically will struggle with the inside fastball or the inside cutter. And so I will set up high and inside, and then it makes it much easier to be able to adjust, say, to something outside or something soft, low and away. It's just so much easier. And so you kind of have to find out what you struggle with and how you need to make adjustments. But once you find that, I'd say using the anchor, it makes a world of difference. Now, I know that everybody doesn't like using it. You just kind of, again, you have to see what works for you and what you like to use, and then you can just go from there. Something that might help out a lot if you struggle with one of these is you can come to practice type, you can go to batting, you can go to a pitcher that, say, you might struggle with. Like I said, for me, I struggle with that cutter inside. And so you can come down to pitch location requests and you can actually set it up there. Pick the exact pitch that you struggle with and just work on that every single pitch over and over again. So like he'll just continue to throw me that inside pitch and I can continue to work on it and getting my barrel to it so that I don't struggle with hitting that pitch anymore. And now I know it's much easier said than done, but you just have to practice, you got to work on it, and eventually you'll get there where you're able to pick up those pitches, and then whenever you're actually in a game, it'll just kind of be muscle memory once you see it out of the hand, and you'll be able to get your PCI right where you're needing it. Now, something else to look at is the feedback that you're getting in the bottom left. It's going to show you the exit velo, it's going to show you the launch angle, it's going to show you your timing and where the PCI was at. And so you're able to get a lot of information from this, and you're going to be able to adjust your swing accordingly, and just piece up the ball a lot better. You're going to be able to know why you maybe flew out to center field. And this game's a little bit weird, man. I've had perfects that go foul, which doesn't make any sense to me. It can be a little bit weird, but for the majority of the time, it's going to give you pretty good feedback. And so be watching that after every pitch and making your adjustments accordingly. Now, the last couple tips that I have, it's just kind of like in real life. You don't want to do too much. Take a deep breath if you feel like you're getting worked up. It happens. Sometimes this game, you don't get the hits that you want. Like right there, I just had an absolutely terrible swing and somehow got a base hit. Makes no sense, but just take a breath, relax, focus on the pitch, and like I said, don't try to do too much. If you're trying to hit a home run every single at bat, just like in real life, you're not going to hit a home run. Just try and get the barrel of the ball, piece it up, and good things are going to happen just like that. You'll start putting balls in the gap. You'll be able to score runners, and if you practice the pitches that you're struggling with, it's going to make this game so much easier for you, and you're going to find so much improvement in your game just over, say, a couple days. And you guys got to remember that this is baseball, and so you're going to fail a lot. You're going to have a lot of swings that don't turn into hits, and that's just how it is. You got to accept it. Get through it and just continue playing. Like if you go 1 for 4 or 1 for 5, that is incredibly good. And I know that you're wanting to piece up everything, but it'll happen. Like right there, I just hit 2 bombs as I'm talking about not being able to hit every pitch, but it'll happen. You're going to find success as you continue to piece up balls. Some are going to go straight to the outfield. Sometimes you're going to piece them up and you'll make great contact like that, but you can't get too worked up about it. If you're wanting to get a hit every single time that I did not just do that. Anyways, I thought I hit another bomb. If you're wanting to piece up every single ball that you get, just go play Road to the Show on rookie difficulty. Change all the sliders and you can hit an absolute shot every single time. But other than that, just be patient. It'll come. Continue to practice the pitches that you're struggling with. Continue to just try and see the pitches out. Work on your anchor placement. And you'll begin to see the improvement in your hitting. You'll begin to see pitches fall, you'll begin to score more runs, and you'll be much more happier when you're playing the game. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If any of the tips helped you guys out, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, just make sure you guys don't give up. Continue to practice, work on all these, and you'll see a major improvement in your game.